So this is your house?
Yeah. This is our humble home.
You haven't been living here since October 7th?
Absolutely not.
This is Neta Yehud. He was born and raised in Kibbutz near Oz, one of the Israeli communities that was the worst hit by Hamas terrorists on October 7th. Today, we're coming back to visit, almost a year after he barely escaped with his life.
I was here with my little girl. The alarm went off and we got into the safe room. The first terrorists that came in shot at the dog, I believe. They were here 3 times. They tried to open and push the door, but we didn't make any sound, you know. They shot the door, it came through, but got jammed in my daughter's cabinet. They just took everything apart.
Why haven't you organized this, I guess, and tried to clean it up?
My wife, she doesn't want anything to do with the house.
It's almost been a year since that happened. Does it feel like that for you?
Feels like yesterday, obviously.
Neta made it out alive, physically unscathed with his daughter. But like many other people from the community, his family was ripped apart.
My grandmother lives here in the kibbutz, and she survived. Her whole neighborhood almost was kidnapped. My sister was kidnapped with her boyfriend Ariel, and my brother was murdered. Yeah, so my whole family, basically, was affected. The whole community, you know, what happened here was a 6-7 hour pogrom.
Kibbutz near Oz was once home to around 400 people, but today it feels like a ghost town. There are about 20 people who still live here amid the ruins.
Has there been any reconstruction so far here?
I'm not aware, but I know they are planning on starting.
The few that make it down to Nir Oz are typically tour groups who come here to see the aftermath of Hamas's violent rampage. And then there are the evacuated survivors of the massacre who occasionally come home to gather belongings, like Neta, along with their family members, like Renee Butler. 6 of Renee's immediate family members were murdered by Hamas on October 7th.
I had 5 siblings living on the kibbutz that day. One was shot and survived. My brother Johnny, my sister-in-law Tamali shot, and my 3 nieces and nephews murdered. Mom shot to death, and the dog too. And that's just my family.
In total, 117 people were either murdered or abducted by Hamas in Kibbutz near Oz. That's 1 in 4 members of the community. 20 are still being held hostage.
This is my brother's house and my sister-in-law's house and my nieces and my nephew. This entire piece was their house. This was the beautiful big porch where we had a lot of family parties, birthday parties. For me, it's just amazing how you can turn a home into rubble so quickly. On this wall, here's the kitchen. You had like the family photos, the kids' birthday photos. My twin nieces, they're 5.5, Arbel and Shachar, and Omer was 2 years and 3 months old. In the morning, I sent in the family group, "How are you? There's missiles in Tel Aviv. I hope you're okay." And Johnny was the only one who replied. He wrote, "Stay safe." That was that.
Renee's brother, Johnny Simantov, his wife Tamar, and their 3 little children were all murdered in this home. After Hamas terrorists infiltrated the kibbutz, the family ran into their safe room, but terrorists shot through the window and the door, injuring Johnny and Tamar, and then they set the house on fire.
My brother and Tamari bled to death. My nieces and nephew cried and choked to death.
From smoke?
From smoke, from the dark, from having non-responsive parents next to them. This is where all 5 of them were found.
I wasn't the one to open the window or anything. I spent the afternoon and evening of October 7th telling Tamar's sister, Noah, that I don't know what happened and we need to wait and see and stuff like that for 4 hours, you know? And just a tragedy that shouldn't have happened.
It's not real for me that it's been a year. It's not something that I'm ready to look back at. We're not really ready to talk about them like it's in the past and it happened and it's not over for us yet.
Johnny is a childhood friend, and more than that, his family. I have memories with him from the time I was 4, you know, 4 years old and 3 years old, and I can't really deal with it currently, but it's a breaking point, for sure.
This is where Sasha and Sophia were taken from. This is my sister's house. She survived with her 4 kids. They ransacked the place, of course. It's so burned. Everything is black. That's where Alex was kidnapped from, the other door.
Eitan's Kunyo house. It was burned to the ground. They came out the last minute out of the window.
Eitan Kunyo is David Kunyo's twin. David, who was taken with his wife.
40 people from Kibbutz Nir Oz were taken hostage by Hamas. One of them was Neta's little sister, Arbel Yehud. She still remains in captivity in the Gaza Strip.
This is my sister's Arbel's house and her boyfriend Ariel. They were taken from here on October 7th.
I took care of Ariel when he was a baby.
We had a sign of life at December 1st, I think, something like that. But you know, it's valid for 30 seconds maybe, and then you realize it means nothing.
28-year-old Arbel's last message to Neta before she was kidnapped wasn't focused on her own plight. She was worried about their other brother, Dolev, an emergency medic who immediately left his home to try and help other families. He was killed in action, leaving behind 3 children and his wife Sigal, who was 9 months pregnant at the time.
He was 35. The army took 8 months to find his body.
When did Dolev's wife give birth?
Sigal gave birth on October 16th. Yeah, a healthy baby girl named Dor. We hope she will meet her aunt soon.
Dolev's family is currently evacuated to another community in southern Israel called Kiryat Gat, where most of the other kibbutz members are also living until they're able to come back home to Nir Oz, if they decide that that's what they want to do. But given the mass destruction in the kibbutz, it will take several years before that's able to happen, and massive amounts of monetary assistance from the government and private donors.
Are you guys planning on moving back here one day?
I don't think the place should be worthy of living again. I think it should be kept as is, as a memorial. You know, nobody is living in the quarters in Auschwitz right now. That's what this place represents. There are people from here who wants to come back. I have nothing against it, you know, but I think the best way to deal with it is to completely keep it as is.
I think that first people have to come back to us. That's the basic of starting to heal, if that's what we're gonna do.
We'll try to survive, but the recovery is not on our sides right now.